Here is my first video of the day. We are underway. It's about 9:43. There is Island Lake there, Titcomb Basin in the distance. We're underway. I'm letting Fitz Roy, Sylvia get a little ahead of me. Pretty good start out of camp today. We hope to be back at the car by 5 or maybe a little after. We'll see what happens. Got a long way ahead of us. Higher up now. Got generally good weather. It's sunny this morning. It's a bit cloudy now. We had a clear and calm night. And again, this is our last day in the Wind Rivers in the mountains anyways. So we've reached the height of land above Indian Lake, and between that and the basin that separates it from Seneca Lake and its companion. That uphill is the most difficult of the trip, and it's behind us. So we still have at least a half a dozen short but tricky ascents and descents ahead of us, most of them on this side of Hobbs Lake. But that's one of the worst, and it's behind us. Also looks like the weather up ahead is good. I reached the basin between Island and Little Seneca Lake. This is a pretty flat and easy section. And then there's a steep descent, maybe the second worst on the other side of this, to Seneca Lake. No, it's a Little Seneca Lake. And then there's another descent on the other side of that to Big Seneca Lake. If you're wondering how cold it is last night, was, and still is, there's ice. And I can tell you that the water in my Camelback had ice in it this morning. And when I poured a dish of water for Fitz Roy, within seconds, there was ice on it. That was when the sun was up. So it probably got down to 28 or 27 or something like that last night here. And it's probably still right around the freezing mark right now, here in the shade anyways. But the sun's trying to come out ahead. The pass over to Seneca Lake is hidden by that highest bush Sylvia's crossing in front of her right now, but it is there. And there is sun up ahead. Fitz Roy's a real snorkosaurus this morning. This is the first bright sun of the entire hike. And as you can see, we've stopped. It's all shaded back in that draw. Yeah, give me a second. Approaching now the height of land, separating us from Little Seneca Lake. A couple of seconds ago, I could, above Sylvia's head right now, I could see somebody standing in that. And as you can see, some people out ahead of us with dogs. So we've reached what I think is the high point on this hike. The U-point, the U-shaped valley in the distance, U-shaped crossing I should say, I believe is Indian Pass. That's Fremont Peak. See a little bit of Titcomb Basin in that area right there. And the lake, Island Lake, is generally the direction that I'm pointing right now. On this side, where Sylvia is already going, is the Seneca Lakes and the path back to Pinedale. But I don't think you'll be able to see them quite yet. I'll film again in a minute. So far, so good. We've got probably 2/3 of the toughest stuff behind us already. Not bad. But we do have a couple more tough heights of lands to cross, and then it gets easier. We're now passing the unnamed pond below Seneca Lake, and I can see some people going downhill there, where I think we'll be going in a minute.
Come on, Fitz.
Seneca Lake. We've reached water level at Little Seneca Lake, and right after this there's somewhat tough ascent coming down there. That is, I think, the second worst of this trip. And then we go to Big Seneca Lake. There's another downhill, not as bad as that one, but a little rough. And then finally back up after Seneca Lake and down again. And And that is the less than this, and then the uphills just get less and less until we go out, but beautiful. We didn't have these views on the way out. We had nothing but slop. Taking a break at Little Seneca Lake. We're not far from the first toughest third of this being over, but it's also the most scenic third by far. The distance is our first view of Seneca Lake on the return. Big Seneca Lake. Not far now. After Seneca Lake, things get easier. Unnamed pond between Big and Little Seneca Lakes. Nice, huh?
Uh-huh.
Lake, dead ahead. After Seneca, things get easier. Now a little bit above Seneca Lake, and we'll be descending back to it. Down that way, right to lake level.
Keep going, buddy. Come on.
Look at that. Look at that. Seneca Lake. It just keeps getting. Really, I wouldn't say nicer because it gets nice from Seneca Lake backward, but it's really nice to see this lake in good weather. Didn't really have a chance to appreciate it on the way in. It was snowing on us too heavy, blowing right in my face.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, I see him. This is the top of, well, the top is right there. Top of Seneca Lake. Magnificent peaks. Fremont Peak with some kind of weird looking clouds. Where do those clouds live? And I think that one is Arrowhead. That's Fremont. I don't know what that one on the to the right across that coal right there is. And then going down there towards Titcomb Basin and the big glacier system that exists on the other side of those peaks. This actually it was Fitz Roy that spotted him. I think. Let me see if I can get him on camera again. I think that's a pine marten or ferret or something like that. Let me see if he comes. Yeah, there he goes again. See, he's too. See, I have to analyze the film when I get back. Yeah, he's very thin and weaselly, and he just went into the water, which a squirrel would not do. Absolutely would not do. So I think that's a pine marten. That is the first pine marten absolutely that I've seen other things that I think were pine martens, but that one I think is definitely a pine marten. Still slogging along. We're now closer to Hobbs Lake. As a matter of fact, we should be coming up on the outflow from Seneca Lake, which is the only major creek you cross on this trip. Coming this way. We can resupply our water there. Sylvia's gone cross country in search of water. She could have got it right from there, but a cross-country trip was in the makings, I guess. That is the outflow stream from Seneca Lake. Saw it on the return, but I didn't really get a look at that gorge. And we are back at Hobbs Lake, where we were 2 days ago.
Good job, buddy.
All right, last video of the day. Fitz Roy, a tired Fitz Roy, a tired Sylvia, and a tired Brian at Photographer's Point. It's just past 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Our phones are almost dead. We're very tired. Fitz Roy's very tired. We got enough water, basically, to walk out. And we're slogging out. So we expect to be back in the car in 2 hours. We're going to take about a 15-minute break here, which means probably back in the car, probably around 6:30, which isn't so bad. We have light here until well after 7:30. So that'll do. Yeah, I have a little bit of power left, and we are back 6:16. Oh, sorry, I'm getting my pulse. 6:17 rather is what I marked us back. 6:17 p.m. on day 4. We have arrived back at the parking lot. Elkhart Park Trailhead. More cars here than when we left. So we're done.